George Carlin, he was kind of a cynic when it came to his comedic stand-up. He was rather dark and cynical, etc., but at the same time presented the comedy in a way where you kind of get where he's coming from. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this.
Americans love to eat. They are fatally attracted to the slow death of fast food. Hot dogs, corn dogs, triple bacon cheeseburgers, deep fried butter dipped in pork fat and cheese whiz, mayonnaise soaked barbecued mozzarella patty melts. Americans will eat anything. If you were selling sauteed raccoons' assholes on a stick, Americans would buy them and eat them, especially if you dipped them in butter and put a little salsa on them.
This is unfortunately
true.
This
country is big time, pig time. Forget the bald eagle. You know what the national emblem of this country ought to be? A big bowl of macaroni and cheese. A big bowl, because everything in this country is king size. King size, extra large, and super jumbo. Especially the fucking people. Have you seen some of the people in this country?
I see them all the time.
Have you taken a good look at some of these big fat motherfuckers walking around? Big fat motherfuckers.
I mean, Snorlax size.
Huge piles of redundant protoplasm lumbering through the malls like a fleet of interstate buses. The people in this country are immense, massive bellies, monstrous thighs, and big fat fucking asses. And if you stand there for a minute and you look at one of them, you begin to wonder, how does this woman take a shit?
These big thunder thighs bitches, no shit.
And even more frightening, how does she wipe her ass?
She don't.
Can she even locate her asshole? She must require assistance. Are paramedics trained in this field? And standing right next to her, of course, with a plate full of nachos and a mouthful of pie is her clueless fucking husband, Joe Sixpack. With his monstrous swollen beer belly hanging dangerously out over his belt buckle, this guy ain't seen his dick since the Nixon administration.
This is
and
unfortunate.
If you stand there and you look at the two of them, you begin to wonder to yourself, do these people fuck? Is this man actually capable of fucking this woman? It doesn't seem structurally possible that these two people could achieve penetration. Maybe they're in that Cirque du Soleil or something. Telling you, the people in this country, every one of them is 50 pounds overweight. They are gargantuan.
I think it's even
and in
more
the
than
summertime,
that.
God help us.
I think it's like 75, 100 pounds
in the summertime,
overweight.
They all want to wear short pants. Jesus, Lord, protector of all that is good and holy, deliver me from fat people in short pants. They all got short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Short pants, big bellies, fat thighs, and dumb kids. Every one of them's got two dumb-ass kids with them. And the whole family is wearing T-shirts, and every one of them's got the same T-shirt. I'm with stupid. Apparently in this country, the stupids are an extended family.
Oh, dude, hey,
and besides wearing
if you thought stupid was bad back then, unfortunately, George Carlin is no longer with us to see how bad stupid he is now. Unfucking real.
Must remain free at all times to hold food. And to get that food up to the mouth where it gets shoveled in with all the rest of the disgusting shit they ate that day. And another reason for the backpacks is these people are going to buy even more stupid shit. They ain't got enough stupid shit at home. They just had a stupid shit sale. They ain't going to buy more. They're going to go out in the parking lot and stuff this stuff into the big, fat, ugly, oversized SUV that's got plenty of room in it. Plenty of room in it for stupid shit and lots of room left over for these big, fat, ugly motherfuckers to get them home. Stopping, of course, for jelly roll and fried dough. These people are efficient, professional.
With all due respect, Carlin, I mean, that's what makes, people go to your fucking, when you were alive, your comedy shows. I mean, the whole reason why people go to your comedy shows is because promoters want to promote the event. The people that are holding the event, the actual venue is generously rewarded for these fat fucks to go and get beer and popcorn or whatever the goddamn festivities are. So, this is what's unfortunate. This is what happens when you get old, all right? And coming from an old person here, you just get so cynical, and you just start not giving a shit so much that, you end up like Carlin here. I'm not even kidding around, all right?
Right away, they start talking about education. That's the big answer to everything. Education. They said we need more money for education. education. We need more books, more teachers, more classrooms, more schools. We need more testing for the kids. You say to them, well, you know, we've tried all of that, and the kids still can't pass the test. He says, don't you worry about that. We're going to lower the passing grades. And that's what they do in a lot of these schools now. They lower the passing grades so more kids can pass. More kids pass, the school looks good, everybody's happy, the IQ of the country slips another 2 or 3 points, and pretty soon all you'll need to get into college is a fucking pencil. Got a pencil? Get the fuck in there. It's physics.
That's what it is now.
Then everyone wonders why 17 other countries graduate more scientists than we do. Education. Politicians know that word. They use it on you. Politicians have traditionally hidden behind 3 things: the flag, the Bible, and children. No child left behind. No child left behind. Oh, really? Well, it wasn't long ago you were talking about giving kids a head start. Head start, left behind. Someone's losing fucking ground here. But there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they use to beat you over the head with all day long, when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Yeah. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
In my opinion, folks, okay, I mean, look, I'm not too fond of the Republican Party at this point, because we have a lot of institutionalists, many of which have stepped down. You don't see Paul Ryan anymore. You know, you don't see these institutionalists that used to comprise the Republican Party, but there's still some. I mean, McConnell, I definitely think, is one of them. And, of course, Romney, there was no accident that he ran for Senate. He's an institutionalist, etc. And these people want to sell out our country. Do you understand? They want us to basically be broken down on an equal playing field with everyone else in the world. And what playing field is that? That playing field is 80% of the world living on less than $2 a day. That's globalism. And if you all want that, well, go ask the European Union how they're doing, all right? Go ask the European Union how the fuck they're doing with their little globalist experiment, and it ain't going too well. As a matter of fact, you've got this blown up superstate called the European Union that forced this migration problem on its member states so it can basically ethnically cleanse all the original inhabitants of all these countries. All right? Just ask the European Union about that shit. And remember, the European Union was like, oh, come to our country. We love you. We're going to give you Syrian refugees and your northern Africans. We're going to give you safe haven. We're going to give you refugee status. They came and pillaged and plundered, all right? Lest we forget, okay, the reason that we become a consumer society is because our government in Washington, D.C., has made it to where that's all we were for the past 40 years. They eliminated all the economic opportunities, the jobs, etc., and sent them to China and Mexico. And how did they do that? Folks, they incentivized corporate America to leave this country. And that's why when Obama was trying to claim that those manufacturing jobs ain't coming back, okay, this is where we're at this point in time. All right, because that's all we've known for the past 30 or 40 years while we were bamboozled with entertainment and consumption. All right, because remember, lest we forget, right after the attacks on the World Trade Center on 9/11, 2001, what was the first thing that George W. Bush told the people? The first thing he said was, go out, spend some money. Go out and keep spending. I swear to God, that was the first thing he said. As a matter of fact, Bill Maher and all the leftist comedians clowned him because of this. And why? Because he's a part of the globalist system. He's the guy that set the war of civilizations and currently has created the situation that we have in the Middle East right now. I mean, you heard it. We have a fucking bombing in Beirut, and that's just the beginning. So it's one thing to be a consumer, okay? But it's another thing to understand what you're consuming. And as I've always said, where you spend your money is a political statement. I mean, all these people were complaining when Walmarts were coming into small towns and taking over mom and pop shops, etc. Yet those same people that are criticizing Walmart are there buying all their shit. Why? Because it's cheaper. So if you're willing to exchange a cheaper product by eliminating the economic entrepreneurial opportunities within your community, then that's what you've done. That's where you have directed your money, and that's your political statement. So small businesses that are ran out of town because of Walmart, you can't blame Walmart, you got to blame the consumer. And by the way, I direct this same argument at all of you who continuously use the same sources of social media. You are the people that created Twitter. You're the people that created Facebook. You created Google. You created these big conglomerations, these fucking corporate monsters that now think that they can regulate your speech. They can stop you from being an influencer. They can demonetize you, etc. You created this because why? For whatever reason, once you people get acquainted with a social media site, it's hard for you to go away from it. I mean, haven't you noticed that we haven't had too much innovation in relations to the social connection of people on the internet since 2005, 2006, when Twitter and Facebook and all these post-MySpace websites started coming up and providing social media as an option, etc. And yet here we are, 2020, using those same social media sites. It's the consumer that creates the corporate monster. All right? It's the consumer that creates the corporate monster. That's why wherever you spend your money is a political statement, and I hope that if you lived your life around that, you'd understand that.